What if I told you the person selling you something already knows exactly how you'll say yes? They don't just talk. They pull invisible strings in your mind. Your trust is built in seconds without you even realizing it. Every handshake, every smile, every so-called special deal is part of a calculated plan. These moments aren't random conversations. They're scripts written in the language of psychology. The salesman isn't guessing. He's playing a game you don't even know you're in. You think you're making a free choice, but your decision was shaped minutes ago. It's not magic. It's persuasion science at its most dangerous. And once you understand how it works, you'll never look at a friendly salesman the same way again. Because in the world of sales, trust isn't given, it's manufactured. You might think persuasion is just about being charming or knowing the right words to say. But in reality, it's a strategic process, crafted step by step to guide your mind toward one conclusion: buying. A good salesman doesn't wait for you to decide. They plant the seeds of your decision long before you even realize you're considering it. It starts with comfort. They create an environment where you feel safe, valued, and understood. They mirror your tone, your posture, even your choice of words, a subtle psychological trick called mirroring that builds instant rapport. You feel like you're talking to someone who gets you. Then comes authority. They mention years of experience, satisfied clients, or drop the names of companies they've worked with. Your brain naturally trusts people who seem credible and knowledgeable. The more authority you think they have, the less likely you are to question them. They don't rush you. They let silence work its magic. Those moments of pause make you feel like you're in control, even though they're silently steering you toward the decision they want. They tell stories, not random ones, but stories designed to make you feel something. A struggling family who bought the product and changed their lives. A customer who hesitated and missed out. Stories bypass your logic and go straight to your emotions. And emotions make people buy. Slowly, your brain starts connecting trust with their product. You think you've reached your decision logically, but really, it's been emotional all along. And once emotion takes over, reason becomes a passenger, not the driver. By the time you're ready to decide, the truth is you already have. All they have to do is close the loop, and that right there is the art of persuasion, invisible but incredibly powerful. Sales at its core has always been about one thing: influence. But influence alone isn't enough to close deals. You can't simply tell people to buy. You have to make them want to buy. That's where trust and persuasion techniques come in. They are the twin pillars of modern selling, and every skilled salesman has mastered them. Trust is the emotional connection between you and the person selling. It's the belief that they have your best interests at heart, even if you've only just met them. Without trust, persuasion crumbles. Without persuasion, trust remains passive. It doesn't lead to action. The two work together, like gears in a machine. These techniques aren't random tricks made up in the last decade. Their roots go back thousands of years. Ancient merchants in bustling markets used similar psychological principles to convince travelers and locals alike. The difference today is that modern salespeople use research-backed psychology, behavioral science, and even neuroscience to make these methods almost foolproof. At its simplest, persuasion is the ability to guide someone's thoughts, feelings, and actions toward a specific outcome. It's not necessarily lying or manipulation, though it could be used that way, but rather, it's about framing information and experiences so they align with what the buyer already wants or thinks they want. Trust, on the other hand, is harder to fake. It's built through consistent signals, eye contact, open body language, confident tone, genuine sounding stories, and a sense of shared values. Salesmen know that once trust is established, resistance drops dramatically. The combination of these two, persuasion for direction, trust for acceptance, creates a powerful psychological loop. The more you trust, the more you listen. The more you listen, the easier it is to persuade. And the more you're persuaded, the more that trust feels justified. In sales training programs worldwide, this isn't taught as optional. It's the foundation. Before they learn about products, prices, or closing strategies, sales trainees learn how to win trust and how to keep it while leading the conversation toward a sale. Whether it's through subtle flattery, storytelling, strategic pauses, or the careful presentation of social proof, these techniques are all about the same goal, making you feel like buying was your idea all along. And here's the truth most people miss. Once you understand the psychology behind these techniques, you start to notice them everywhere, from the car dealership to your favorite online store. Even in casual conversations, you'll see how people use the exact same strategies, often without realizing it. To really understand trust and persuasion techniques, you have to see how they play out in real life. Imagine walking into a showroom just to look around. Within seconds, a salesman approaches. His smile feels warm, not forced. His handshake is firm, but not crushing. He says your name twice during the first minute conversation, and you feel oddly valued. That's the first move, personalization. Your brain is wired to respond positively when someone uses your name or remembers small details about you. It triggers a sense of familiarity, even with strangers. Then comes mirroring. If you cross your arms, he subtly does the same. If you speak quickly, he matches your pace. This unconscious reflection builds rapport, making you feel like you're talking to someone who gets you. You don't notice it, but your defenses start to lower. Next is a subtle display of authority. Maybe he mentions his years in the industry, a high-profile client he's helped, or awards he's received. Authority signals tell your brain, this person knows what they're doing, and we're wired to trust experts. While talking, he carefully observes your reactions, where your eyes light up, where you hesitate. If you seem excited about a feature, he expands on it. If you look unsure, he doesn't push. He lets you breathe, using pauses to create a feeling of control in you, while he's still steering the conversation. Then comes storytelling. He doesn't just list features, he paints a picture. One of my customers bought this exact model last year, and she told me it completely changed her daily routine. Suddenly, you're not just hearing about a product, you're imagining yourself in that story. Your emotions start to connect with the purchase. And here's the clever part, scarcity and urgency. Maybe he says, we only have 2 of these left in stock, or this discount ends today. Your brain hates missing out, and the fear of loss often pushes people to act faster than they planned. Layer by layer, he builds an emotional framework around the sale. Trust isn't just about honesty. It's about making you feel understood, safe, and supported in your decision. Persuasion isn't about pressure. It's about making the choice feel natural. By the time he asks, "Shall I start the paperwork?" you feel like the decision was entirely yours. But in truth, it was a result of a carefully designed sequence, a choreography of psychology. And once you start spotting these moves, you'll see them everywhere. From luxury boutiques to tech stores, even in online checkout pages that count down the minutes until a deal expires. Spotting persuasion in action starts with paying attention to the small details most people overlook. The first sign is overly personalized interaction. If a salesman remembers your name within seconds and repeats it often, it's not just friendliness. It's a rapport-building tactic designed to make you feel special. Watch for mirroring. If you lean forward, they lean forward. If you speak with enthusiasm, their tone matches yours. This creates a subconscious bond and makes disagreement feel uncomfortable. Notice if they highlight their expertise early in the conversation. Dropping credentials, client names, or years of experience is meant to trigger authority bias, making you less likely to challenge their statement. Another clue is the strategic use of silence. They might pause right after telling you a benefit or asking a question, letting the quiet pressure you into speaking and often into agreeing. Pay attention to storytelling. If their examples feel too perfectly aligned with your needs, chances are they're deliberately crafted to match your emotional triggers. Look for urgency cues. Phrases like, only a few left, this price is only valid today, or someone else was looking at this earlier, are designed to activate your fear of missing out. Notice the abundance of positive reinforcement. They nod when you speak, agree with your opinions, and compliment your good taste in choosing that item. This flattery subtly reinforces your self-image as a smart buyer. Check if they frame the purchase as a solution to a personal problem you've mentioned. If you casually say you're busy, they'll highlight how the product saves time. If you say you want quality, they'll emphasize durability. Even the environment can be part of the persuasion. Comfortable seating, warm lighting, pleasant scents, all designed to keep you relaxed and receptive. And here's a big one, the yes ladder. They ask small, harmless questions you're likely to agree with, like, don't you want the best of your family? Or, you value your time, right? After a series of yes answers, saying yes to the sale feels like the natural next step. Once you know these signs, you'll start to notice them not just in stores, but in advertisements, online shopping carts, and even everyday conversation. The techniques aren't always malicious, but being aware means you can decide with clarity, not impulse. The first step in defending yourself against persuasion traps is awareness. Once you know the signs, you can pause and think before responding. Awareness breaks the automatic flow a salesman is trying to create. Second, slow the pace. Salespeople thrive on momentum. The faster you move, the less time you have to think critically. If you feel rushed, say, I'll think about it and get back to you. That one sentence puts control back in your hands. Third, Separate the product from the person. Just because you like or trust a salesperson doesn't mean their offer is the best for you. Focus on the facts: price, features, alternatives. Fourth, challenge scarcity and urgency. Ask yourself, if I walk away now, will this really be gone tomorrow? Often, these deadlines are artificial. Fifth, resist emotional decision-making. If a story or flattery makes you feel good, acknowledge it, but don't let it be the only reason you buy. Step back and consider if the purchase still makes sense without the emotional push. Six, bring in a second opinion. Whether it's a friend, family member, or even a quick online review search, getting another perspective can snap you out of persuasion bubble. Lastly, remember, no is a valid answer. Good sales should respect your boundary. If someone makes you feel guilty or pressure for saying no, that's a red flag and a sign to walk away. The goal isn't to become suspicious of everyone. It's to make decisions from a place of clarity, not manipulation. When you recognize the tactics, you can choose when to follow them and when to step back. Persuasion is everywhere. It's in the way we shop, the way we vote, even the way we think about ourselves. But once you can see it, you can't unsee it. Every friendly smile, every perfect story, every last chance deal, they all start to look different. The truth is, persuasion isn't always the enemy. Sometimes it leads you to something genuinely valuable. But the power lies in knowing the difference between being informed and being influenced. So next time a salesman greets you with warmth and confidence, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, are you choosing freely, or are you simply following the path they've carefully built for you? If you want to keep sharpening your mind against these invisible forces and learn how to master your own influence, subscribe now. Because in this world, either you control your decisions or someone else will.